All right, so tariff talks with China are about to start. No guarantee of a breakthrough, but the markets this morning already trending up as they see this as a sign of maybe a possible, outcome that might be favorable for the market.
Well, Doug Zader is keeping tabs on all of that. He is live from D.C. this morning. Hey, Doug.
Good morning. It may be just a toe in the water, but the U.S. and China have agreed to talk about how to move forward here as economic pressures continue to build in both countries.
But never say never. Never say never.
President Trump joking with new Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney at the White House yesterday about Canada becoming the 51st state. It was a lighthearted moment with serious trade issues on the table.
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
But what is open for negotiation now may be a trade deal with China.
What we're going to do in Switzerland is we've agreed to talk.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent making the announcement last night that there will be talks with China now. The tariffs are so high between the two countries that there is effectively a trade embargo. That will soon start having a big impact on the U.S. economy, and China's economy is already feeling the heat, even as the Treasury Secretary is trying to tamp down expectations.
My sense is that this will be about de-escalation, not about the big trade deal, but we've got to de-escalate before we can move forward.
Still, the markets have been looking for some signs of progress, and the president is teasing another development.
We have some very big announcement to make. It's not about trade, it's about something else, but it's going to be a truly earth-shattering and positive development for this country and for the people of this country.
Now, it's not clear what that might involve, but the president says that announcements will be made sometime over the next few days. Back to you guys.
So much to watch, Doug. Thank you for staying on top of all of the angles.
Thanks.
Well, things got a little tense in the Oval Office when Canada's newly minted Prime Minister paid President Trump a visit.
All right, so tariffs, the #1 issue. Now, neither of them really backed down from their differences in this ongoing trade war that has shattered decades of a close relationship between Canada and the United States. The two were very civil, but as for Trump's calls to make Canada the 51st state, Prime Minister Carney insisted that it's not for sale. And then President Trump shot back, time will tell, he says.
Having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever.
But I say never. I've had many things that were not doable, and they ended up being doable, and only doable in a very friendly way.
Well, during the meeting, the president also celebrated the ending of NAFTA, or the United States-Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement, something that the president helped to orchestrate, saying he doesn't think renegotiation is necessary at this point.
Also, a little commotion on Capitol Hill. House Democrats walking out of a committee hearing to protest President Trump's cryptocurrency profits. The main issue for Democrats is the president's own meme coin, which has generated more than $320 million for businesses owned by the president and the Trump family. Republicans say there's no evidence of wrongdoing, arguing the president has been a big supporter of cryptocurrency for years.
Well, President Trump saying that the U.S. will stop bombing Houthi rebels in Yemen, saying the rebel group has agreed to stop attacking U.S. ships in the Red Sea. Now, details on the deal, though, still unclear, with the president framing it more as a handshake agreement passed down through surrogates and representatives.
The State Department has merged the Palestinian Affairs office in Jerusalem with the U.S. Embassy. Officials say Secretary of State Marco Rubio plans to consolidate the office once again. President Trump did this in his first term, and then former President Joe Biden reversed the order. The State Department says the move is similar to the government reorganization taking place throughout Washington, D.C. right now.
It is making sure that the issues that are important are all working together, right, are not segmented out, so that the interests of the embassy, very much like the interests of our foreign aid and other actions, can work together in the Bureau as one entity.
The State Department did not mention if the shift would affect relations with the Palestinian Authority.
The Supreme Court sides with the Trump administration on its transgender military ban. Back in January, President Trump signed an executive order reversing a Biden-era policy that allowed transgender troops to serve openly. 3 federal judges ruled against the ban, but yesterday the court said the ban can stay in place.
Well, interest rates are expected to stay where they are for now. The central bank likely to hold interest rates steady as they wrap up a 2-day meeting this afternoon. The Fed chairman, Jay Powell, says President Trump's tariffs have led to economic uncertainty. President Trump saying tariffs will lead to higher prices and will contribute to inflation. And the latest GDP report shows the U.S. economy unexpectedly has shrunk by 0.3%.